I grew up with this guy. During my formative years, this feller seemed to be everywhere. And you know what? He always seemed to be such a force for good. Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz in New York City on October 31st, 1936, Michael Landon's first big brush with fame came with the role of Little Joe on Bonanza. That show ran for a whopping 14 seasons on NBC and really made Michael a star. But you know what? That absolutely wouldn't have happened if Michael hadn't have received an athletic scholarship to USC. That brought him over to the other side of the country, and by the mid-50s he had started finding work in TV and in movies. As a kid, I didn't remember this movie at all. It came out before I was born. While maybe it isn't Landon's best known role, it is one of his first, so I guess it is truly fitting that Michael's birthday is on Halloween. After Bonanza ended its run, Michael starred in NBC Television's version of the beloved Little House on the Prairie books. On the show, Landon played the patriarch of the Ingalls family for 9 wonderful seasons. But truth be told, he was much more than just the star of that show. He was the driving force behind it. Michael really connected with his castmates on the show, and they all looked up to him. They respected what he had accomplished during his career, and many of them looked to him as a mentor. Of all of the cast members, I don't think anyone was closer to Michael than Melissa Gilbert. The two of them had a very special bond from the very beginning. In fact, when Michael saw Melissa's audition, there was no doubt in his mind that she was the best choice to play the character affectionately nicknamed Half Pint. Another person that Michael became extremely close to was this guy, Victor French. French played Mr. Edwards on the show, just like I'd imagined him when my father had read us those Little House books so long ago. He was a rough and troubled, salt-of-the-earth kind of guy with an absolute heart of gold. From everything that I've read, it feels fair to say that Michael and Victor seemed to bring out the best of each other, and whenever they hung out, you knew that some sort of hijinks would occur. Both of these fellers knew how to have fun, and whenever they were together, the frivolity and mirth just seemed to increase exponentially. After Little House came Michael's final TV series, Highway to Heaven, again with Victor French. I've always had a soft spot for movies and TV shows about angels in heaven. And then in 1991 came some really rough news. While on a skiing trip in my home state of Utah, Michael started to get migraines that were pretty much unbearable, and after a visit to the doctor and a host of tests, it was determined that Michael had developed a form of pancreatic cancer that was swift-moving and unfortunately inoperable. Just months later, Michael would pass away. While he's gone, he is not forgotten. His legacy lives on to this very day in the hearts of all of those who he touched in both large and small ways. I think Melissa Gilbert, Half Pint herself, said it best when she said that when you were around Michael, you just felt safe and cared for, regardless of who you were. You know, every time I catch an episode of Little House, Bonanza, or Highway to Heaven, I am reminded of Michael's tremendous love for life. What a real, wonderful force for good this man was. Alright, now it's your turn. Please share your memories of Michael in the comments section, and while you're at it, I'd love a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'd be absolutely honored if you would consider subscribing to my channel. I talk about music, movies, and mostly TV from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. But most importantly, and as always, thank you so much for watching.